The Hadley Institute for the Blind and Visually Impaired presents iFocus, tips on using the vision accessibility features in iOS. In today's installment, we'll look at finding audio descriptions in iTunes. Hello, my name is Douglas Walker. Today, we will be finding videos that contain audio descriptions in iTunes. Now, in the past, I really haven't found myself watching many movies. However, all of that just might change now that we are finding more and more movies and TV shows in iTunes that are available with audio descriptions. Now, if you're not yet familiar with what it means for a movie or a TV program to have audio descriptions, well, audio description refers to a narration track that describes what's happening on the screen, and these descriptions provide additional audio context for those of us that are visually impaired. And I tell you, that really is pretty fantastic. You know, even though I have some vision, I sometimes miss all the little subtle things in a movie, especially if it's kind of a dark movie. Plus, I really like how all the titles and captions are read aloud. I tell you, audio descriptions have really become a big game changer for me when it comes to wanting to really sit down and watch a movie. Recently, Apple's been adding, like we said, more and more movies and TV shows that we're able to purchase or rent in iTunes that contain audio descriptions. And because of this, we will be taking a look at how to find and purchase audio-described movies in iTunes. So how about we jump right in and we'll head right to our iTunes app. Okay, our iTunes app is right here on our desktop, so we'll just flick to iTunes here, and we'll flick.
iTunes Store. Double tap to open. Actions available.
Great, and here it is. So we will just single finger double tap to open it up here, and we'll single finger double tap.
Selected. iTunes Music tab 1 of 5.
Okay, our iTunes app has opened, and we have been placed on our Music tab here in the bottom left corner of our screen. Now, if we're not yet familiar with how tabs work, well, tabs are similar to buttons, and our tabs are typically located across the bottom edge of our screen. Now, activating any of our tabs will actually open up a whole new screen in which we're able to interact. Now, since our Music tab is currently open, we know that everything on our current screen here is going to be music related. Now, we aren't going to be totally exploring iTunes today because today's all about finding and purchasing movies that contain audio descriptions. All right, one of our tabs is actually a search tab. Now, our search tab gives us the ability to totally search our iTunes store for media. Then we can purchase and download our media right to our device, and that is pretty great. All right, like we said, we are currently on our Music tab in the bottom left corner of our screen. So how about we just right flick quickly through our tabs until we find our search tab here. So we'll just right flick from here. Right flick.
Movies tab 2 of 5.
Okay, and here is our Movies tab, and of course, activating our Movies tab will bring up a screen of movies that we can flick through, and we could either rent or purchase. Now, not all of these movies will contain audio descriptions, so that's why we're going to perform a search for the movies that we want today. So let's just continue to right flick from here, and so we'll just right flick.
TV shows tab 3 of 5.
Okay, so here is our TV shows tab, and it's really great that we can also purchase TV shows if we like, but we're looking for our search tab, so we will just go ahead and right flick from here, and we'll just right flick.
Search tab 4 of 5.
Great, and here we go. We have found our search tab, and this is exactly where we want to be. However, we do have one more tab to mention here, and if we were to right flick one more time, we would find our More tab, and this is going to be in the bottom right hand corner of our screen. And if we were to activate our More tab, we would be given a list of additional items such as the ability to purchase ringtones, or we could find all of our previously purchased media. Anyway, as we said earlier, We aren't going to be totally exploring our iTunes app today, and of course, we're right where we want to be, which is on our search tab. So how about we just single finger double tap to activate our search tab here. So we'll just double tap here. Okay, our search tab has opened for us, and we've been presented with a very simple interface here for performing an iTunes search. Now, we have a search field just below our status bar here and across the top edge of our screen. Now, our search field is where we're going to perform our keyword search, so we'll just need to touch up here in our search field to get started. And so we'll just touch.
Search field. Double tap to edit.
Great. Here we are. And we heard VoiceOver announce that we need a single finger double tap to begin our editing. So we will just single finger double tap here then. And we'll just double tap.
Search field is editing. Search. Insertion point at start.
Okay, we've now entered our edit field. And we've been given a standard QWERTY keyboard here in the bottom part of our screen that we'll use for entering our search keywords. All right, so we're ready to begin our search. Now, there are actually several different keywords that we can use for searching for movies and TVs that contain audio description. And we've found through trial and error that there are several keywords that seem to get us our best result. We can type in the keywords audio description. We could use audio descriptions with an S on the end. We could type in video description or even described videos. However, for me, I have found that simply typing in the letters A and D seems to provide me with the best search results because Apple tags all audio described movies with the abbreviation AD. And sounds pretty simple, right? So how about we try it? We will just type in the letters AD, and we'll go ahead and type
S-A-A-D-D.
And of course, we'll put a space in here.
Space, add.
Great. We have entered our keywords, or in this case, key letters, right? So we just need to find our search button down here in the bottom right-hand corner of our keyboard. So we'll just touch our search button here.
Search.
And of course, here it is. So we will just need a single finger double tap to perform our search here. So we'll just double tap.
Add search field. Double tap to edit.
Great. Our search results screen has opened, and we've actually been placed right back in our edit field at the top center of our screen. So how about we go ahead and just explore our search results here. So we'll just begin to right-click from here to explore our screen.
Selected all button 1 of 5.
All right, so we have 5 buttons just below our search edit field here. And we've been placed on the first of these 5 buttons, which is our All button. Now, this means that all of the products in iTunes that contain the keywords audio descriptions will be listed just below these 5 buttons here. Now, this is going to include things like, of course, all of our movies and TV shows, but it will also include things like all of our music, podcast, individual songs, and even ringtones and audiobooks. Now, this will be a lot of stuff to flick through, and one of our buttons here is really going to help us to narrow down our search results. So how about we just flick through these buttons and quickly check them out here. So we'll just right-click from here.
Albums button 2 of 5.
Okay, this is the second of these, and of course, if we double tapped on this, only our albums would be listed here. So we'll right-click from here.
Songs button 3 of 5.
And of course, activating this would just list our songs here. So we'll right-click to this next important button here.
Movies button 4 of 5.
Okay, and here's our movies button. And if we activated our movies button, we would only be presented with a list of our movies that, of course, are going to contain our audio descriptions. And I tell you, that's really nice. So this is exactly what we're going to do. We'll just single finger double tap here, and we'll just double tap.
Selected. Movies. 4 of 5.
Great. So we're still on our movies button, but now we only have a list of audio described movies here in our search results. And so that's exactly what we want today. Okay, so how about we check out our search results, but first we will flick to our last button. So we'll just right click here and we'll right click.
More button. 5 of 5.
Okay, so here we find our More button. And if we activated our More button, we would be given a list in which we're able to right flick through and sort of narrow down our search results in a different way. We could choose to narrow down our results by maybe podcast or, again, ringtones or even books if we like. However, we're looking for movies today, and if we right flick again, we'll be placed right in our list of movies that contain our audio descriptions. So let's just go ahead and right flick here, and we'll just right flick.
Beauty and the Beast, 2017, Kids and Family, March 17th, 2017, 4.5 stars, 1,028 user reviews.
Okay, and here is the Beauty and the Beast movie, and we're given some really great information here. We're provided with things like our movie's intended audience. We're told the date that it was added to iTunes, and we're also given the movie's ratings. Now, this movie has really good ratings. We have 4.5 out of 5 stars, which really is a super rating. Now, I'm looking for the Martian movie today because the Martian really does have some fantastic audio descriptions. So how about we quickly just right flick through our list here until we find our Martian movie. So we'll just right flick a few times now, and we'll just right flick.
John Wick, Chapter 2,
and we'll
Action,
right-flick.
The Lego Batman Movie, Kids and Family,
Batman movie here.
Moana, 2000, Logan,
Just right
Action
flicking.
and Hacksaw Ridge, Action and Adventure,
And one more
November,
time here.
The Martian, Sci-Fi and Fantasy, October 2nd, 2015, 4.5 stars, 1,865 user reviews.
Great. Here is The Martian, and this is exactly what we're looking for today. So we'll just single finger double tap here, and we'll open up our movie's details screen, and we'll check it all out. So let's go ahead and just single finger double tap here, and we'll just tap twice.
The Martian, search, back button.
Okay, so our movie's detail screen here has opened for us, and we've been placed on our back button in the top left corner of our screen here. So let's just right flick through our screen and check out our movie's details here. Now, we've already purchased this movie. However, we'll discuss how the whole purchasing process works in just a bit. Okay, how about we just right flick here? So we'll just right flick.
Share button.
And here is our share button. And our share button really does give us some really great features. We have the ability to simply share all of the details about this movie with someone, or we could actually purchase this movie and send it to someone as a gift if we like. So that really is cool. Okay, we'll just right flick from here, and we'll just right flick.
The Martian image.
All right, here we are on the Martian image. However, this is just a banner image here that pretty much does nothing. So how about we go ahead and just right flick again, and we'll right flick.
The Martian image.
Okay, and here's another image, but this is an image for the movie poster for The Martian, or maybe an image of how the DVD cover looks. Anyway, we'll just right flick past this, and we'll just right flick.
The Martian, high definition, heading.
Here is our movie's title, and that's kind of nice to know, right? So we'll go ahead and just right flick again, and we'll right flick.
Rating, PG-13, image.
Here's our movie's rating. So that's also kind of nice to know. And but we'll just right flick, and we'll right flick.
Closed captioning, image.
Great. Now this image lets us know that this movie contains closed captions, which is great for those that might have a hearing impairment. It's pretty cool. All right, so we'll just right flick again, and we'll right flick.
Audio description, image.
And this really is what we want to find. We're told that this movie contains audio descriptions. Now, Before we purchase any movie, we are really going to want to flick through this movie's details screen just like we're doing now. And we'll want to make sure that this audio description label is here. And that way we know for sure that our movie contains our audio descriptions that we want. And this one, of course, it does. Now, if we were to right-click again, we would typically be placed on our purchase button right here, and we'd be told the cost of our movie. However, since we've already purchased this movie, we're going to be placed on a download button instead. And of course, we could just activate that download button, and we would download the movie to our TV app. So how about we just go ahead and right-click to our download button here, and we'll right-click.
Download button.
Okay, like we said, this would typically be a purchase button. And if we were to right-click again, we would find a button for renting our movie as well. Now, if we wanted to purchase or rent this movie, we would, of course, just single finger double tap on our purchase button to purchase it, or we would activate our rent button if we wanted to rent it. Now, one of two things is going to happen when we do that. We'll either be prompted to enter our password for iTunes, or we'll be told to activate our Touch ID for purchase. And I tell you, it really is as simple as that. You know, Apple really does make it almost too easy to purchase movies. Okay, so after we either purchase or rent our movie, we'll then need to open our TV app in order to play it. Or we could just flick to our next button here. So how about we do that? We'll just right-click again, and we'll right-click.
Play product button.
Great, and here is our play product button. And you guessed it, all we need to do to play our movie is just to single finger double tap and activate this button here. Now, when we activate our play product button, our TV app is automatically going to launch or open for us, and hey, we could begin watching our movie. Now, if we're not yet familiar with how to use our TV app, well, it's your lucky day, because we just so happen to have an iFocus video called Exploring the TV app, and it really does go step by step and explain exactly how to watch our movies. You know, the fact that we can now find audio described movies in the iTunes store, well, really could be dangerous for me, because I already have a ton of music, and I now foresee myself purchasing a lot more movies. Again, my name is Douglas Walker. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
For more from the iFocus series, including many other topics of interest to individuals with vision loss, visit the Videos at Hadley page on the Hadley Institute for the Blind and Visually Impaired website at www.hadley.edu.